Greetings, everybody. Welcome to FileMaker Pro User Group Dallas Chapter. I'm Taylor Sharp. We're kicking our meeting off here on February 2nd, 2024. I'm wearing my gear from Engage stuff. We'll talk more about that because that's the big annual developers conference. It's next week, but for now, we're doing PUG here at Harmonic Data in Dallas or Addison, Texas, and we're glad to have everybody here. So
we're in Dallas.
Dallas, yep. This is good. So anyway, regarding announcements, really the only announcement, of course, is that if you're living in a cave, you don't realize that next week is Claris has returned to doing an annual developers conference. It's called Engage. We haven't done this since COVID, so this is all trying to get the old wheels going from what we were supposedly doing in years past, and see if we can get back to normal, hopefully, here. So among other things, getting excited about what Claris is doing with the software, networking, socializing, and learning some new tricks and things. So there will be a whole bunch of that next week. On top of that, next month, Dennis Burnham is going to be our presenter, and he is going to present on the follow-up of Engage. So basically anybody who didn't go to Engage, or those of you who did want to go to Engage, want to wrap up what were the most interesting things he learned or saw there. Great. And for any of you who haven't been there, there are several different options of presentations at each hour, so nobody can go to them all. So there will be some different perspectives shared for people who saw different things. And we have a couple of people from Harmonic that are presenting. Eric's presenting. Fred, you remember what Eric's title was? No? Okay.
Eric's presenting on troubleshooting.
And Eric is?
It's about troubleshooting, yes.
Okay, Eric's something about troubleshooting, so we will hopefully learn some interesting things from Eric. And then I think Heather's doing
Heather
it.
has two sessions, one on UI UX design.
Okay.
The title starts out Designed, Sealed, and Delivered. And the other one is on script triggers.
Okay.
And Eric's, the title of his starts out something like Beyond Debugging.
Yeah, it's some interesting title. I just remembered it kind of caught my attention. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, if you have signed up for Engage, you do have to go and select your presentations. Unlike before, it's not just whimsical. You go to whichever one and hope it hadn't filled up. They actually are making you register, and they also tell you when they've filled up a particular one. So if you don't sign up in time for ones, you might not get what you want. So that is different in the past. It probably has to do with smaller rooms and limited size than we've had in the past. This is probably not going to be, in the past, the whole DevCon usually has had anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 people there, and nobody knows what we're going to do this time, but it's probably going to be scaled back a little bit as they were worried.
I asked and was told they're not releasing the number, but it's many hundreds.
Yeah, so hundreds is not in the 1,000 plus that we're used to. So, but yeah, I understand they were trying to be conservative and not overcommit. I know it's a real pain when you're doing conferences. You don't want to overcommit and buy more than you're going to have people there for, and then you lose your tail in the process. So, but likewise, I think there are a lot of people excited, and I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, there are some naysayers out there that want to poo-poo on things, but I figure let's have a good attitude and certainly give them the opportunity to make things excellent. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys there next week. Ray, did you ever go to one?
No, I have not been to a FileMaker developers meeting.
I've worked on you a few times, but anyway, maybe I'll get you to come with me if your wife will let you out, come play with the boys. So
I didn't miss many Macworld. Never took you up on your invitation.
Yep. Well, it should be an exciting week next week. I believe Harmonic are actually one of the conference sponsors, so go Harmonic. So it'll be good and exciting. So. I'm Taylor Sharp, like I told you when I first started here. I'm a full-time FileMaker developer, but I'm a solo guy, so I'm a small shop, and I put together a number of template files for various solutions I need for working with some of my clients. A lot of developer firms out there have similar internal things, and I'm going to share one of these with our user group today. And so today we're going to be talking about a holiday, well, it's just holidays or business days is the converse, and how we can do calculations on that. And I will tell you and why you would need to know whether a particular date is a holiday or not usually has to do with some type of calendaring, scheduling, project management that you have going. Might be time cards, or it might be asset checkout or something, but basically based on dates you're determining if something's available to be checked out, or if they're doing overtime, do they get holiday rate pay or something like that. And in the past what I did was you create a FileMaker table and you put all the dates in. Okay, well that's fine for this year. Well, then you got to put it in for next year, and then you got to put it in for next year, and then next year, and yeah, you know, that works. I even had a little button that automatically tries to put them in for the next year, but you know, it was a manual process, and I'm all into what are automated processes that'll minimize the amount of work that we have to do. So I thought about, well, maybe I can do a script, which I'll show you. I did that, and then and finally I worked around to doing a custom function on it. But if you're going to do holidays, you got to think about, okay, we're doing, you know, date calculations. How do you figure out when a holiday is? Well, yeah, certain holidays are real easy to figure out. New Year's and New Year's Eve, you know, are always going to be on the 31st and the 1st, and it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. 4th of July will always be on the 4th of July. These are the easy holidays, so we can figure them out. So, but then we have the next set of holidays that are based on what week of the month and what day of the week. So usually it's like the third Monday of the month, or it'll be the Thanksgiving is what the fourth Thursday, I think, of the month, things like that. So most of the holidays do fall in that realm, and so those are a little more complicated to calculate out, and we've got some formulas for that. But yes, we certainly have to figure out to say, what will the third Friday of the month be, or the first Friday, or whatever, or the first Monday, or whatever. So like what's President's Day, third Monday of February or something. Anyway, whatever they are, we got to figure those out. So that's the first, one of the first big tackles that we need to make. And then the last most complicated one that we'll talk briefly about is there are holidays that are based on lunar schedules. So the big one, for at least America, there are more Christians here, so Easter is the big one here, but like in the Muslim world, there's Ramadan and things like that are based on lunar calendars. I will show you the one I've done for Easter, because I've needed that. I haven't done the Ramadan one, but maybe we can get someone to help me out with that. I can tell you, figuring out when Easter is each year is a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. So, and then lastly, I will say on the first group of holidays that we say that follow on a particular day, for example, 4th of July, okay, well, if 4th of July is on a Saturday, the holiday is observed is Monday or Friday. Those, they rotate between Friday and Monday depending on when they are or whatever. So
banks have to have holidays.
Yeah, banks have to have holidays. They can't, anyway. When I remember when I was a kid, it didn't work that way, but things are a little different now in the holiday things. So, so anyway, so those are the goals and challenges that we need to figure out if we're going to do calendaring calculations, and that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Share the screen. And there's our FMPUG webpage. If you haven't been to our webpage, fmpugdallas.com, there it is. even gives you instructions how to come here. So if you're with us virtually and you actually want to ever come join us in person, those are the directions how to get there. Likewise, we also have our past presentations are on here as videos, so you feel free to go check one out if you happen to miss it. I put together a custom function. Originally it was a script, but I used to really not like custom functions. I don't know why. I was just really biased against them. If you can't do it in a script, why would you do it in a custom function? And on top of that, it was a lot easier in scripts, at least for me, to do loops, at least before whiles came along, in custom functions. I don't know, any of you out there able to do a non-while looping custom function?
I did loop and custom. Oh, it's the reserve, yeah.
Yeah, every time I had to do it, I had to kind of relearn it, and I wasn't good at it. And so it really made me happy when the while function came along, because it just seemed so much more intuitive to me. But anyway, caveat emptor, we do what we can on it. So, but I started out with a script to figure them out holidays, and of course, you have to realize what the holidays are going to depend on the company that you're with, or organization, because not all organizations observe the same holidays. You've got the standard USA banking holidays, which a lot of companies do, but a lot of companies will throw something in like Easter or Good Friday that is not going to be, on a banking holiday because it's religious, or there are various other things. Some companies may throw in some extraneous thing like your birthday also gets to be a holiday or whatever. But anyway, so you have to be able to adjust the holidays based on the organization you're working with. There isn't a one set of holidays does everything for everybody. But when we're thinking about this, also think about the converse. Yes, we're calculating what the holidays are, but the reality in the business world, while you're calculating what the holidays are, the real end result almost always is you want to know, is a day a business day, more than you really know what are holidays, because usually you're trying to say treat a day differently. If it's a holiday, you'll do it differently, but if it's a business day, you will make things available that could be done for the business, time cards or, checking things out, project management, whatever they are. So the question often is more of, is today a business day than it is what is a holiday? But we add both of those. So basically, I wanted to have a custom function, first of all, that determines what those holidays are. Over here, I wanted that custom function to return, well, of course, now since FileMaker 16, we've done the JSON world, so I figured let's have it, return a custom function that says on a given year, what are the holidays? And what this custom function does is for 2024, here's a JSON format list of the holidays and what their dates are for that particular year. And if we change the year, if we go to the next year here, you can see it. They all update here based on what the year is. And so the trick is, say, we need a list of the holidays, we need to return it as JSON, and if we get the list of holidays from it, then in our script, whatever we're trying to do, figure out if something's a holiday or not, we can do something based on what's in that, JSON list that comes back. And that is basically how we're figuring out if things are holidays or not. So, okay, so question then is, how do we build this JSON list of holidays for a given year, where we can put the year in here and it will turn the holidays over here? And so we're going to look at the custom function that we put together. So manage custom functions, and I've made several different custom functions here to help out. You can see the Easter function. Then this is the holidays. This is the JSON that we have over here on the left, and this is the main one that we're going to focus on. This is date format, and this is date is holiday. Basically, you put a date in, it tells you if it's a holiday or not, which is the converse of you put a date in and it Boolean returns the answer, is today a work day or not? So those two get real useful. And then also had a calculation for holiday observed. So this basically, if something's on a Saturday, it moves the date to Friday. If it's on a Sunday, the holiday moves to a Monday. That way you can tell when, 4th of July on a Sunday really is observed on Monday. So that's calculation to help with that. And then lastly, for figuring calculations out, number of work days between two dates. So basically it figures out, as a day, this is assuming work days are Monday through Friday. Obviously, if you work at a restaurant or something else like that, that assumption is totally out the door. But, if you work business days, Monday through Friday, minus any holidays that are in there, that figures that out. So those are the custom functions that I needed for working with one of my clients that I finally, instead of big script, I finally put it all in these custom functions to do it. And of course, the main one to make sure, figure out things are working out is this holidays one. So that's what we're going to look at first here. This is the function that generates the holidays for a particular organization. And so this custom function is designed for developers like you guys to take this function and adjust it to your company. Do you not observe Easter? Take Easter out. If you observe, you're in Canada, so you have O Canada Day or whatever instead of 4th of July, you'll put that in and you'll take 4th of July out. So the idea is that you're going to use these functions to edit this based on whatever organization you're with to figure out what their holidays are. So what I do is I am taking the custom functions. First of all, we got to know what year we're in, so we're calculating the holidays for each year. And obviously the easiest ones we start out with are on this specifically set date. So I say New Year's, and then I use that custom function that says what is the observed date of New Year's. So while it may be on the 1st, if that's a Sunday, the observed day is Monday. And so really I'm trying to figure out, when I'm calculating these holidays, I'm figuring out the dates when they are observed, not the actual date, because I'm working on business calendaring stuff. So New Year's, I run this custom function, what's the observed date, and then I put the date in of what New Year's is, which is going to be January 1st of whatever the year is that we're working on. So our custom function input is year. We put the year in here, and this New Year's will return what is New Year's for this particular year that we're looking for. So the next one we have, is MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. And that is always in January of whatever year, and it's on a Monday, and it's the third Monday. So I have a custom function called TMS date of month occurrence. And this function, if you provide these inputs, what is the month, what is the year, what is the day of the week, and which occurrence of it is, it'll return the date for you. So obviously you can see this custom function for generating the holidays is very dependent on these other custom functions that we'll look at later. But for right now, they're just basically magic. You fill those custom function in and it returns the answer for you. Right, Michael? He's getting excited. Okay, so President's Day is in February of the year. It's on a Monday, and it's the third one. So you use the same formula we did for MLK Day. And then Easter, I said we're going to look at that separately because that's based on lunar calendar, and it is really ridiculously complicated. By the way, Easter is not Easter everywhere in the world either. So, some people have grown up here, like Western Christian culture here, you think so. And then you realize there's the Greek Orthodox Church and the Russian Orthodox Church and stuff. And Easter is not all the same. So if you think of that, just realize this was kind of the Roman Catholic Easter, European convention mostly. So don't necessarily think this is Easter for everybody. If you're Greek Orthodox, you're probably looking at me, that's the wrong date. So, okay. Good Friday is also based on the assumption that I had for, Western Roman Catholic Easter. Memorial Day, we're back to our same occurrence where we give the month, we give the year. It's on a Monday, and it's the last whatever Monday of the month. So this function not only lets you do like first, second, third, fourth, or whatever. It also lets you choose the first, like occurrence of the week of the month. So like the first Monday as well as the last Monday. So while it's almost always the fourth Monday of the month, there is a weird circumstance where Memorial Day can be the fifth Monday of the month. Very unusual, but it actually happens, so you have to take that into account. So 4th of July is always on the 4th of July, but we want the observed holiday date, so that's why we use this function to say if it's on a Saturday, move it to a Friday. If it's on a Sunday, move it to a Monday. Labor Day is the same, and as you'll see, the rest of these are all the same based on the occurrence within the month. The newest one that's on at least the banking days holiday is the Juneteenth one, which we're in Texas, so it's interesting. A Texas holiday has become a national holiday. So anyway, I always chuckle about that. Galveston holiday has suddenly become a national holiday. So anyway. Okay, so holidays, here we go, and then we return them all as a JSON element that we set, list them all out, and then that basically returns a result that's easy for us when we're scripting for other purposes to say, hey, give me a list of the holidays for a given year. Your input is year, and it returns the JSON list of the holidays for that year, and you're good to go. And so, all you have to do though is based on your organization, go in here and amend these holiday dates to whatever your particular organization is, and then this custom function will return for any year what the holidays are, and that can be very useful. There are some weird circumstances where a company was not observing Juneteenth last year and they're observing it this year, so you may have to say ignore something before a certain year or something. But anyway, we all know that there are exceptions out there, and our clients will always throw them at us anyway. So as soon as you think you have a rule that applies, then it doesn't. So, but it's all fun part of doing development. We get to customize things. So, okay, so I'm gonna look real quick at just, is a day a holiday? And so if a day is a holiday, we put the date in, and it runs through this little loop here to test based on the holiday JSON whether or not that holiday is in the list of the holiday JSON. So this is obviously is it a holiday? We're asking, is it a holiday, an observed holiday, not actual holiday? So, but we're assuming for business purposes we're asking the question, and we need to know that for business days. So this custom function, TMS date is holiday, returns a 1 or a true if it is, and it returns a 0 false if it's not. The other, the converse of that is today a work day, which is actually usually more, I find more useful. I use this function more often. You put a date in and it tells us, is today a work day or not? And it does the same thing. It returns a 1 if it's a true for it is a work day, and 0 for false if it's not. And so it makes it real simple to throw that in. But for this to work, obviously the holiday custom function has to have already worked and be working. So okay, with those two under our belts, let's go look at our date of month and occurrence. And this is used actually for most of the holidays, at least in the US, to figure out, because most of our holidays seem to be based on what week of the month and whether or not it's a Monday or a Friday. And so we will plug these in here. This is our little custom function that does this, and basically what it does is it figures out what is the month based on the date that we put in. So basically what you're providing is you provide the month, and then the next parameter is the year, the next parameter is day of the week, and then the occurrence. So month can obviously be 1 through 12, January through December. Year is literally any year. The there are weird things that you can say our calendar does not apply to, 5000 BC or something, so don't throw me weird things. I'm just assuming we're in this century or two. So, and there is, I'm not going to get into it, but there is the Julian and the Gregorian calendar, and so we're working in our current one, and I'm not worried addressing any of those shifts and dates in the past. So this, if you're someone who's doing ancient history, these calendaring things aren't aimed for you. So we have the day of week function, because basically we're looking if things are on Thursdays or what day of the week. It's usually a Monday or Friday we're looking for. We're looking at the occurrence, and at first I did occurrences the first Monday, or the second Monday, or the third Monday, or the fourth Monday, but then I found out, I ran into the issue with the, Memorial Day not being the fourth Monday, of May. It actually could be the fifth Monday. It's the definition is the last Monday of the month, so I had to give the option of last and first in there. So, and then we go through where we basically just do a little while loop to test it, and we find out what day of the month it is, and then we will return that particular date based on this function here. So obviously if there's something you need to customize in here, those are easy things for you to do. This is, I'm assuming that if you're taking these custom function templates, that you guys will customize them as you need, but this was good enough for what I needed for my client. And so that returns, here's the main holiday custom function. Here it is, just returned as a list. I just did 3 different lists because at different times they wanted to see the list. I like JSON, for FileMaker scripting, but some other people like lists, and some of them like it with a year, month, date first. In other words, like my client happens to be Canadian, so I ended up having to do Canadian date format stuff. Actually, this is ISO date format, but anyway, I actually didn't show the Canadian one on here, but anyway, it's in their solution. So anyway, always remember the Europeans and the Canadians do their little date functions differently.
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, everybody does but us. So anyway, keeps things fun and exciting. It also goes back to, this does follow up. I actually did everybody out there has done an age calculation or function to figure out how old someone is, and I thought, it's a little. You think it'd be really easy, but it actually takes a little bit of thinking. But what's really interesting is how we calculate it. Age is not calculated everywhere in the same world, in the same country, around the world. I did not realize that. I thought everybody, did the same thing like in America. You're born and you're not 1 until your first birthday, and you're not 2 until your second birthday. Well, I for a while I dated a Chinese girl, and I found out from her, you're 1 when you're born, and you become 2 on your first birthday. And that's how they do it. In fact, she was really excited when she came to America, and she gave her age, and customs corrected her and said she was a year younger. So, yeah, I like the way these Americans do it. So, but anyway, that was a surprise to me, which is why I wondered why in the world does FileMaker not have an age calculation in it. And I did not realize that it's not universal, and that's probably why they didn't put it in. So, and I actually understand between Japan and China, apparently Claris sells a lot of copies over there, more than you would think. Part of it I know has to do with supporting the language character sets over there, which, but still, anyway, it's
The partners list for Japan is pretty long.
yeah, it's I've been very amazed at some of the business they do over there. And if you go to Engage next week, you'll probably run into some of them. It's kind of fun. That's another thing, if you do get to go to Engage, it's not just national people, international people. So you'll see, Asian people there. You'll see some Europeans there. You might see some Australians or some Africans or something. So it's it gets kind of interesting. That's another reason why I think it's good that we're getting the conference back and going. So, okay, so I've created these custom functions that I needed for my client. I share them up on my website. If you ever want this or any of these custom functions, you go to my website, which is tms.us, which I guess stands for TaylorMade Services, but also stands for my initials of my name too. But anyway, there's the tms.us. If you come down here and click on the templates, it takes you over to, if you're a FileMaker developer, you'll quickly recognize this is just a WebDirect thing. And here are the templates that are out here, and you can scroll through them and find whatever you want. And let's see, here's the holidays one. You just click on it. You can provide your name, or if you just want to download it, you don't have to provide your name and email. But if you provide the name and email, I let you know when there are updates. But don't feel like I'm not using it for marketing purposes, so if you don't want to hear about updates, don't provide that information. But there are a number of other templates I do out here. It's silly things. Here's our Easter calculation that we haven't looked at. So I borrow that custom function, and I don't know. You'll see I have some various API things that I've done out there. So anyway, those are out there if you get bored and want to check them out. The price is free for them, but if they connect to an API, the API is not necessarily free. So the templates are free, but that's it. So I'll take a quick look at the Easter calculation just so that you can see that it's complicated, and then that'll kind of wind down talking about custom functions, and then we'll get into talking about next week. So where's custom functions here? Here's the Easter calculation. First of all, before you think that I'm smart and came up with this, no, this is just, I got it off of the internet. So copied and pasted. I got it off GitHub. So if you're not on GitHub, it's really useful. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, so here's all the calculations it takes to figure out, based on what year it is, what day is Easter. It's a lot more than you think.
Hey, Taylor,
Yes, sir, Ray.
I got a tale to tell about that.
Okay, tell us, Ray.
When I first got my Apple II, I was trying to learn Apple Basic. And back then, no internet, so you read all the magazines. And in one of the magazines, I found a guy that he first gave us a narrative story that was titled How the Roman Catholic Church Calculates the Dates of Easter. And it was in narrative form. Well, he proceeded to put that into a basic program and explained it. The mystery function was called, in the narrative, it was called the golden number. Very mysterious. Well, it turns out in BASIC, it was the mod function, or the remainder function, that you had to have. So in BASIC, he used that, and I finished my little BASIC program, and I just wanted to show it off so bad. And out at Green Hill School, some of you will know that our founder of the Apple Corps, she invited me to come out and demonstrate my little basic program that calculated the dates of Easter. And somewhere I still got it.
It takes a lot more work than someone thinks, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't a very complicated calculation once you had the mod function. That was the key.
Yeah, and this actually calculates back, it gets into the Gregorian dates and the Julian, so it actually does both. which was kind of useful. So anyway, I apparently got this on GitHub from someone who was a religious seminary type student, needed to, they needed dates worked way back. So anyway, I was impressed that a seminary student could do that. So, but certainly fun things. But yes, that is Easter for us, and I think that kind of wraps things up. Any questions on the custom functions? I think most of you guys, at least in the room here, are developers, so you're probably, other than just being able to see how the work is done, if you were to need it, copy and paste it, edit it towards whatever need you have. But it has certainly been kind of useful for a couple of clients of mine. So, okay. Well, I'm going to wrap up the holiday part of things presentation, and briefly we're going to open up to talk about Engage. So I'm going to have everybody who's getting to go to Engage this year raise their hand in the room here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us are going. And how many people have ever been to a developers conference? Okay, so anyway, yes, it's gonna certainly be fun to get things kicked off, and it's what's going to be different this time is we are meeting at the Apple campus in the domain area of Austin. We've never done that before. In the past, we've always met at hotels, mostly Marriott's, but there was a Hilton or two in there. But the one reservation I have about it is my getting to go on to these developer conferences is getting to meet people that I don't meet otherwise. I enjoy the community we have here of developers in Dallas, so it's fun to get to know you guys. But this is the one opportunity, well, used to be annual, hadn't been annual for a while, but it is our one opportunity to meet people from around the world and hear and see what they're doing. If you haven't ever been to a conference, one of the things that I always end up, it's not that I don't know, I've passed the FileMaker tests and certification and all. It's not that I don't know the functions. What's always interesting at these presentations is seeing how other people took the same function that you said you knew how to use it, and they use it in a way that you never imagined or had thought about. And it is and that's kind of really a lot of why I like to go and learn some of this stuff, to see how other people are using a function that I say, I know how to use that, I passed the test on it, and then I see them do stuff with it that I had never imagined, and it's like, oh. It's kind of like, I know the function, but I don't really know the function. I don't know the possibilities, I guess I could say, and that's kind of some of the exciting part where I get excited in some of these conferences. I know this is totally, for someone who's not an IT FileMaker person, you're probably thinking this is a total nerdy geek up here who's getting excited about strange things, but I actually really do. It's kind of fun to, and it's fun to be around other people that appreciate and enjoy that, because us as developers, when we do get excited about things, it's fun to be excited around other developers. Most of the rest of the world, when we're around them, if we get excited, yes, I got a holiday custom function, and if I say that at Chili's at the bar, everybody looks at me and doesn't say anything. They don't get excited. But I can do that at the, well, we would do that at the bar at the Marriott, and someone would get excited. But Heather.
Taylor, one of the things that I liken it to, it's like learning keyboard shortcuts from your cat. When they walk across your keyboard and something happens, and it's like, oh my God, how did you do that? At DEF CON or now Engage, it's like, it's not that I didn't know that function was there. It's that it never occurred to me to use it in that way.
Exactly.
Perform script on server is one of those. There was one of those unconferences one year towards the very, very end, and I knew we could do it, but it just didn't quite jive for me. Why? Until this demo was done about the performance, and it was like, light went off, and I had a project I could use it with, and it was awesome. So it's those kind of learning moments about learning more about what you knew and how other people are implementing it.
Right. You've taught some things here that I've done some, I'm trying to remember, what was it? There was something you really, It was not the actual topic presentation. You thought you were teaching me something, but it was something in your script did something I didn't realize that. Of course, you're thinking I'm teaching this topic X, and Taylor's excited about Y because I saw this topic Y that's example in there, and
that's what makes it. That's what makes it more valuable, I think.
Certainly. So anyway, it's fun to. The other thing too is occasionally, because I do these templates out there, if you don't do things in the community that, it's. The FileMaker online community used to be a lot more involved when it was in the TechNet, and it's not near as active as it used to be, but it's fun to be able to get excited about these things and to learn them in the community and with international people. I get to listen to foreign people are fun to get involved with. If you can get involved in the community, sometimes you can build some friends there. I know some people originally got involved in the community because they think it would draw new customers to them, and I absolutely promise you, if you do get involved in the Claris community, it's not about drumming up customers, or you're more likely to drum up a developer who's not willing to pay you, that just wants to find out how to do something.
Or has a strong opinion about the way you do it is wrong.
Oh, right. Yeah, you'll, by the way, have a little bit of thick skin, because you'll be told you're wrong a lot, and that's just kind of part of the process. But anyway, but sometimes being told you're wrong, you do learn things. So anyway, but anyway, don't get too offended easily out there. But so, but I do the other thing I do. I mean, I'm sure Harmonic does things, but the other thing I do to get out there, because I'm so small, is I do these templates that I showed you, and so there are a number of people around the world that use them. And what's fun is often at Engage, I get to meet a couple of those people, and it's fun to put a name and a face together that you've seen is in an email, and so that's always fun to do. The other thing that is, I do know that they are going to offer meals, and so when they do have the lunches, they're actually breaking them up this year and going different places. But a lot of times the networking I got to do and meeting new people was more at the meal time than necessarily it was at a session, because if you're at a session, you're really listening to someone, you're not socializing, or if you're socializing, they're probably frowning at you. Shut up in the back. But anyway, I had a client this last week that was asking me to configure their Android. I'm groaning, but anyway, speaking of which, I think Claris or whatever, FileMaker has officially given up on their venture to try to make Android work. So I think they had the UK company that was going to do miracles for them, and that just didn't work out. So, but oh well, it was a big thing to bite off and chew, and I would have certainly have loved it. But anyway, I'll notice that Claris made an announcement that they were going to do it, and they've never rescinded the announcement. But I understand that there is nothing being worked on at Claris on it. It is not gonna, so, and it's enough getting them work on things that we want them to work on. So, but anyway, maybe someday down the road. But for now, I'm happy to tell clients, use an iPhone, or if not, figure out how to do the web direct thing, and that's the limit of my stuff. I work with Mike Strange. We have a bunch of web direct clients that log in on Androids, and yes. He's got an interesting clientele. It's technically in the insurance business, but it's bail bondsman. So he's got all these people that are out on bail have to check in every week on a bunch of his servers, and it's an interesting business that Mike has gotten endeavored on. Without Mike, you'd have all these people that aren't getting to check in and get in trouble with court. So, any other comments about Engage, excitement or things?
Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
He's all ready to get there and get up. Now, since you guys are a sponsor, will you have a booth?
Yes.
Okay.
Right by the elevator on the 3rd floor. You can't miss it.
I still remember my first DevCon that I went to. The biggest disappointment I had is I got there and I realized I'm having to pick out my sessions, and I was really upset because I didn't realize they would always have, 3 or 4 sessions all at the same time, and I couldn't go to all of them. You can only go to one at a time, and I was upset because I just assumed when I saw the original list of things that I could go to every one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean I can't? I've got ripped off here. So anyway, first DevCon I went to, I also, that was where I met Ning, my girlfriend. So I actually got a girlfriend out of my first episode. So you can socialize, you never know. It might be better than a dating app. But okay, well, I think unless anybody else has any comments about Engage, we will hope to see a bunch of you guys next week. We'll wind things down. If you went to Engage or don't go to Engage, next month Dennis is going to do a wrap up for us to see what exciting things he got out of Engage, and hopefully we'll have some good wrap up discussions next month at FM Pug. So come join us then. So until then, everybody stay safe, safe travels, all those good things, and happy Valentine's, whatnot. Okay, signing off. Well, you have to make sure I wore my past developer conference gear here. Just to, this is the geek out stuff in case you.
Someone took a picture of me one year because my ribbon chain was so long, but I was disappointed it didn't show up in the, when they do the collage at the end. And I thought for sure that would show up and it wasn't there. But